For me personally, when I see a really obvious a trend line trend, I choose not to engage. So in this scenario, in this environment right now, I would choose not to engage. So I'd only choose to engage, sorry, after I see all trend line highs and lows liquidated. And for narrative, it's nice to know for narrative as well because you know with traders having access to public information, most of that information teach them to trade with trend lines, and you really get to see it here on how it's used for manipulation. So I don't plot it all the time on my chart, but it's definitely there in my mind's eye, and being able to know. So what would I be? So what am I thinking right now? I'm thinking that cool. People think we can get that third rejection, but usually that third rejection is usually just a shift away, a violation, and a move higher. Either that or it's just a straight violation, a move back in, and I anticipate at least for the trend line, and I'm talking about the lower time frame ones, by the way. I don't when I see trend lines, I choose to. So for narrative, it's a thing where I focus only on the lower time frame to draw my trend line for the sole purpose of understanding, okay, cool, where not to engage. I do not engage at these levels where why? It's not because it's just a trend line too. It's because these levels have already been mitigated and there's no room for a rejection. But there's room for rejection in an unmitigated zone. So we've been mitigating these areas on our way down. And the thing is, the likelihood of price reaching back up to mitigate and continue down a low. Why? Because if price has to break structure to mitigate unmitigated portions during a higher time frame pullback, that break above is usually just and like when you see that break above, it's usually for a move to continue and break structure. You feel me? And then move back in. So I'll keep that there. You feel me? And I'll look for a 5 second closure below here. See, you see the break of the trend line. Usually, you see a move back in because there's some traders as well that use the break of the trend line and wait for the pullback to continue as well, right? And on the other side, there are traders that use the tap of the trend line to continue down. Some shit like that. Um, we don't need this. But you see this? You see how we broke out? Or can't lie, the chart's kind of flimsy still. I don't know what's going on there. You guys see how we break out of the trend line, we move back in? But no structural high low has been broken yet. We're still within this 5 second range here. If we get a closure above this, then more than likely we get a closure above here.